The great meeting hall of the Varel Dominion was huge. Bright lights shone from the ceiling. Tall windows showed the stars outside. Hundreds of alien leaders sat at long silver tables. They were all from different worlds, but they had one thing in common. They believed they were the strongest rulers in the galaxy. A giant screen hung on the far wall. On that screen, an image slowly appeared. It was the picture of Earth's first warship. Humans called it the Horizon. When the image became clear, the Varel leaders started to laugh. Deep, echoing laughter filled the hall. Some aliens clapped their hands. Others wiped tears from their eyes. "That is their great ship?" said High Commander Euros in a mocking voice. "It looks like a broken cargo hauler. It does not even have proper shields," another general said. "Look at the old metal plates. Pathetic." For many years, the Varel Dominion had watched Earth. Their spies sent reports saying humans were slow learners. They said Earth had no real weapons. The Dominion believed it. After all, no human ship had ever crossed deep space before. But now, something was different. On the screen, the Horizon started to move. It passed Saturn's rings and aimed for the dark edge of space. The sensors showed strange readings. "Why are its engines so quiet?" asked Admiral Threx. He leaned forward, frowning. "No matter," Euros replied, waving a hand. "Send 5 scout ships. Show them real power." Outside in space, 5 Varel scout ships flew fast. Their engines glowed bright blue. They reached the Horizon in less than 1 hour. From the meeting hall, everyone watched the live feed. "This will be over quickly," one officer said, smiling. The first scout ship locked weapons on the Horizon. But before it could fire, the human ship vanished from the screen. "What?" Threx shouted.
Where did it go?
The Varel technicians tapped their controls. One by one, their screens turned black. No signals. No images. "This is impossible," a technician whispered. Suddenly, all the lights in the hall flickered. For just 1 second, the power went out. Then it came back on. A cold silence filled the room. High Commander Euros stood slowly. He looked at the blank screen. "Find it," he ordered in a low voice. "Find that ship now." The technicians tried every sensor, every scanner. Nothing worked. It was as if the Horizon had vanished into thin air. Far out in space, the Horizon reappeared behind the scout ships. Its hull glowed with a strange blue light. The human crew watched calmly from inside. Captain Elijah Stone stood at the center of the bridge. He was a tall man with gray hair and sharp eyes. His face showed no fear. He looked at his young engineer, Asha Patel. "Are you ready?" he asked. "Yes, Captain," Asha replied. Her hands moved over the controls. "Dark spiral. Drive is stable." Captain Stone nodded. He turned back to the large front window. He could see the 5 scout ships. They were small compared to the Horizon. He pressed a button on his chair. A deep voice came over the comms. "This is the Dominion Scout Alpha. You are trespassing in Varel space. Surrender or be destroyed." Captain Stone did not answer. Instead, he leaned forward and spoke quietly. "Show them we are not a joke." At his words, the Horizon's main engines powered up again. But no sound came. No heat. Only that strange blue glow inside the Varel meeting hall. The technicians finally picked up a signal. One of them gasped. "Commander, the human ship is behind the scouts." Euros' eyes widened. "Behind them? How?" They used some kind of gravity distortion," the technician stammered. "It bent space around them. Our sensors cannot keep up." The laughter was gone now. No one smiled. No one clapped. Fear crept into every heart. On the screen, the Horizon fired a short burst of energy. Not enough to destroy. Just enough to show it could. The nearest scout ship spun out of control. Its engines went dead. "This is just the beginning," Captain Stone said quietly. In the meeting hall, Euros' hand trembled as he reached for his communicator. "Send the fleet," he whispered. "Send every ship we have." But deep down, he already knew this was not an old cargo hauler. This was something new, something that could destroy everything they had built. Outside, in the endless black of space, the horizon turned toward the heart of the Viral Dominion. And for the first time, the strongest empire in the galaxy felt true fear. The horizon moved through space like a silent shadow. No alarms, no warnings. It's just that blue glow shining from its engines. Inside the ship, the crew worked with steady hands. Every person knew their role, as they had trained for this mission for years, but only a few of them truly understood the power. Hidden inside the horizon, Captain Elijah Stone stood on the command deck, watching the stars slide past the windows. His eyes were calm, but his mind was alert. He knew the Viral Dominion would not give up easily. "Status report," he said. Asha Patel turned from her console. She was young, but brilliant. Her dark hair was tied back, and her eyes were full of focus. "All systems stable, Captain," she said. "Dark spiral drive is working perfectly. No overheating." Stone nodded. He remembered the day he first heard about the dark spiral drive. Most people on Earth thought it was impossible. Some even called it madness. But Asha had believed in it. She had built it with her own hands. Many years ago, Asha had been just a student. She read about gravity fields and energy distortions. She dreamed of ships that could bend space itself. Other scientists laughed at her ideas, but she kept working. She kept testing. And at last, she proved them all wrong. The dark spiral drive did not burn fuel the way other engines did. It pulled the very fabric of space around the ship, twisting reality. To normal sensors, it looked like the ship was disappearing. To the Viral, it was a nightmare. "Captain," said Asha, "the Dominion fleet is on the move. We detect at least 50 warships coming from Sector 12. Stone took a deep breath. "Long before they reach us." "For hours," she replied. He looked around the bridge. "That gives us time. We will show them what this ship can do." Far away on the Viral flagship Vortex Blade, High Commander Euros watched the growing fleet on his tactical display. His face was pale. 50 ships, he said. "That is enough to crush any enemy." "But not this one," Admiral Threx replied quietly. "You saw the reports? Their ship disabled our scouts in seconds." Euros clenched his fists. "It does not matter. We are the Dominion. We will crush these humans." In his heart, though, he was not sure anymore. Back on the horizon, Asha tapped her console again. "Captain, they are trying to jam our signals. They want to stop our communications." Stone smiled a little. "Let them try." He turned to Communications Officer Lin. "Open a channel to Earth Command. Send them this message. Operation Starbreaker has begun." Lin nodded and pressed the transmit button. Then Stone looked at Asha again. "You designed the engine. Tell me, how far can we push it?" Asha hesitated. "Captain, if we increase power to maximum, the dark spiral drive can create a full gravity distortion field. It could move faster than any ship has ever moved." But what?" Stone asked. "But the stress could tear the ship apart," she said softly. "This drive was never tested at that level." Stone thought for a moment. Outside the ship, the stars were bright and cold. The Viral fleet was coming, ready to end humanity's dreams forever. He knew they had no choice. "We will take the risk," he said finally. "This is our only chance to prove Earth's strength." Asha nodded. "Understood, Captain." She started to prepare the engine for overload. Warning lights flashed across her screen. The power readings climbed higher and higher. "Engineering." "To bridge," came a voice over the intercom.
"Captain."
"We are seeing pressure spikes in the core." "Hold it steady," Stone replied. "We have to show them what humans can do." Meanwhile, in the Viral fleet, the ships were forming attack formations. Hundreds of weapon systems charged up. Missiles, plasma beams, ion cannons all ready to fire. On the Vortex Blade, Euros gave the order. "All ships prepare to engage." On the horizon, the engines reached critical power. The blue glow turned white, filling the entire engine room with light. Asha gripped the controls. Her hands were shaking now. She had never tested the engine this way. She thought about all the years of work. All the nights she stayed awake, dreaming of this moment. "Captain," she whispered, I'm ready. Stone looked at her with respect. Do it. Asha pressed the final command key. Outside the ship, space seemed to ripple and fold. The horizon vanished from every Varel sensor. One moment it was there, the next it was gone. On the Varel flagship, alarms screamed. Technicians yelled over each other. We lost them. Someone shouted, no trace. Yora slammed his fist against the console. Find them, but it was too late. The horizon had jumped across space in an instant. It now floated only a few thousand kilometers from the Varel's main shipyard, where thousands of warships were under construction. Captain Stone stood and stared at the view. He could see the great docks of the Dominion, lit up like a city. This is where their power begins, he said quietly. And this is where we will end it. Asha looked at him. What are your orders? Stone's eyes were cold. As steel, prepare weapons, he said. Today the galaxy will learn that Earth is not weak. The horizon drifted silently in the blackness of space, for it lay the heart of the Varel Dominion's power, the grand shipyard of Sur. It was a massive place. Giant docks floated in orbit around a gray planet. Thousands of unfinished warships sat in rows. Robotic arms welded metal plates. Bright lights glowed in the darkness. To the Varel, this shipyard was untouchable. No enemy had ever come this close, but no enemy had ever built a ship like the Horizon captain. Elijah Stone stood on the bridge. His face was calm, but his voice was cold. Report, he said. Asha Patel checked her screens. Captain, we are in position. Their sensors still cannot detect us. The dark spiral drive is holding. Communications Officer Lin turned in her chair. Sir, I am picking up Varel transmissions. They are confused. They have no idea where we went. Stone allowed himself a small smile. Good, let's keep it that way. He walked to the main window. From here he could see the huge ships hanging in the docks. Some were bigger than cities. All were built to conquer. All weapons, stand by, he ordered. At the weapons station, Lieutenant Kara. Holt nodded. Her fingers hovered over the controls. Target locked, she said. Asha glanced at Stone. Her voice was soft. Captain, if we fire, there will be no going back. This will be war. Stone looked at her. His eyes were steady. It was always war, he said. They just didn't know we could fight. Outside, a small patrol ship drifted near the docks. Its sensors swept back and forth. But every time it scanned the horizon, the readings came back blank. Inside that patrol ship, a Varel officer frowned. He felt uneasy, as if something was watching him. Then, for a single second, the horizon's cloaking field flickered. The patrol ship's screen picked up a massive shape hidden in the dark. Commander, the Varel officer shouted. I see something, but before he could finish, the horizon vanished again. The patrol ship's crew looked at each other, their skin cold with fear. On the horizon, Captain Stone watched quietly, knew their time was short. The Varel fleet would arrive soon. Lieutenant Holt, he said, prepare the main cannon. Yes, Captain Holt replied. She tapped in the firing sequence. The horizon carried a weapon no other ship in the galaxy possessed. Humans called it the Starbreaker cannon. It used energy drawn from the dark spiral drive. When it fired, it tore through. Metal and shields like paper. A low hum filled the bridge. Lights on the floor began to flicker. Blue glow spread along the walls. Power levels rising, Asha reported. Cannon at 60% charge, 70%, 80%. The docks below, Varel workers noticed the strange light above them. Some pointed. Others ran for cover. 90%, 95%. Firestone said. The Starbreaker cannon released a beam of pure energy. It was bright as a star. It struck the largest dock directly in the center. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then with a soundless explosion, the entire dock split apart. Giant pieces of metal flew in all directions. Fire burst from the shattered hulls of unfinished warships. From orbit, it looked like a small sun had been born. On the Varel flagship Vortex blade, alarms blared. Technicians screamed over each other. Energy spike detected. Main dock is gone. High Commander Yoros stared at the screen, His mouth hung open. "No," he whispered. "That cannot be." Admiral Threx grabbed his shoulder. "It's the human ship? They found the shipyard. But how?" Euros stammered. "How did they get here so fast?" On the horizon, the bridge was silent. No one cheered. They all knew this was only the beginning. Stone turned to Lynn. "Send a message to the Dominion." Lynn pressed the comms button. "This is Captain Elijah Stone of the human ship Horizon," Stone said. His voice was steady, cold as ice. "Your empire has ruled with fear for too long. You have stolen worlds. You've crushed free people. Today, you learn that Earth will not kneel." Paused. On the Varel flagship, every officer listened in stunned silence. "This is your only warning." Stone continued. "Leave Earth alone. If you do not, we will destroy everything you have built." The message ended. For a moment, there was no response. Only the crackling of comm channels. Then a voice came through. It was High Commander Euros. His tone was full of anger. "Human ship, your attack is an act of war. You will not survive this." Jay Stone didn't reply. Turned to Asha. "How long before the fleet arrives?" She checked her scans. "Less than 30 minutes." Stone nodded. "Then we have time for one more strike," he said. Holt's hands tightened on the weapons controls. The horizon moved forward, silent and unstoppable. Across the galaxy, thousands of eyes watched the transmission. No one laughed. Anymore, for the first time, everyone understood. The humans were not weak. The humans had come to fight. The horizon drifted past the burning shipyard. Flames still glowed across the shattered docks. Pieces of broken warships tumbled into the darkness. Captain Elijah Stone watched the wreckage on the main screen. He felt no joy. This was war, and war was never clean. "Status report," he said quietly. Asha Patel wiped sweat from her forehead. Her voice was tense. "Dark spiral, drive stable. Weapons online. But Captain, they are coming." The Varel fleet was moving fast. Warships spread across space like a swarm of predators. "How many?" Stone asked. Asha swallowed. "Over 50 ships. They will surround us in 20 minutes. Communications Officer Lynn turned. "Captain, Dominion channels are active." "Are broadcasting demands for surrender?" Stone's jaw tightened. "They will never accept peace. They think fear is the only way to rule." Lieutenant Kara Holt looked up from the weapons console. "Captain, if we stay here, we will be trapped. They will attack from every side." Stone nodded slowly. He studied the tactical display. Red. Dots were closing in, boxing them in near the wrecked docks. "They think they have us," he said. His voice was calm, but maybe, he continued, "we can make their pride work against them." Asha glanced at him. "What do you mean?" Stone turned to Lynn. "Open all channels." Lynn pressed a button. A small red light blinked. The Horizon's voice echoed across Varel's space. "This is Captain Elijah Stone," he said. "You believe you can crush us with numbers, but you do not understand this ship. Come if you dare. We are ready." Then he nodded to Lynn to cut the transmission. Asha stared at him. "Captain, we're baiting them." "Yes," Stone said. "They will rush in. They will think they are hunting an animal. But we are the hunters." He looked at Holt. "Ready the mines," he ordered. Holt's eyes widened. "All of them?" "All of them," Stone said firmly. The Horizon carried more than guns. It held special gravity mines devices that could tear a ship apart by twisting space itself. They were Earth's secret weapon. Holt tapped her console. "Mines armed and ready. Begin deployment," Stone said. Outside the ship, dozens of small, black spheres drifted free. They spread in all directions, invisible to normal sensors, from far away. The Varel fleet saw only the horizon, still hovering among the wrecked docks. On the vortex blade, High Commander Euros stared at the image. His face was twisted in anger. "They dare challenge us," he spat. Admiral Threx looked uneasy. "Commander, perhaps we should proceed carefully." "No," Euros snapped. We will crush them here and now. Full attack. One by one, the Varel warships accelerated. Their engines burned bright blue. Plasma cannons charged. Inside the horizon, alarms began to beep. Asha checked her display. They are coming fast. All ships entering the debris field. Stone's eyes were cold. Let them come. The Varel warships closed in. Some slipped past the wreckage of the docks. Others moved over and under the horizon's position. On the bridge of the vortex blade, Rose leaned forward. Fire at will, he commanded. All at once the Varel ships opened fire. Beams of energy and missile trails filled space, but every shot missed. The horizon flickered like a ghost. Its engines pulsed with blue light. It drifted through the wreckage with impossible grace. Then Stone spoke 2 words. Detonate mines. Holt pressed the trigger. Space itself seemed to twist. Silent ripples spread out from the hidden mines. One by one, the Varel ships flew straight into the trap. The first cruiser struck an invisible wave of gravity. Its hull cracked apart instantly. Another warship was pulled sideways, smashing into a drifting piece of wreckage. On the vortex blade, alarms screamed. Gravitic distortions. A technician shouted, "We are losing ships." Yoros turned pale. "How? Did they on the horizon's bridge?" Asha stared at her readings. "Captain, 15 enemy ships disabled, 7 destroyed." Stone did not smile. He knew the fight was not over. "Continue evasive maneuvers," he ordered. Holt guided the horizon through the chaos. Enemy fire passed close, but never touched them. Yaros watched helplessly as his fleet fell into ruin. His pride had led them into a perfect trap. On the horizon, Lynn turned from her console. "Captain, incoming message from the Dominion flagship." "Put it through," Stone said. Euros's voice came over the speaker. His tone was shaking. "Human captain." "What do you want?" Stone's reply was quiet but strong. "I want you to understand. Earth will not bow. We will not be conquered. Leave us in peace or watch everything you have built burn." Euros said nothing. The channel closed. Asha looked at Stone with respect and fear. "Captain, you think he will stop?" Stone looked out the window at the burning wreckage. "No," he said softly. "He will come with everything he has left. When he does, we will end this war." The horizon floated alone in the darkness. All around, wreckage drifted like broken bones. The Varel fleet had been shattered, but the fight was not over. Captain Elijah Stone stood in front of the main screen, his face lit by the pale glow of distant fires. His crew worked in silence. They all felt the same heavy truth. The real battle was about to begin. Asha Patel checked the sensors again. Her hands were tense on the console. "Captain," she said, her voice tight, "we have new contacts. Very large signatures. Bigger than anything we have seen." Stone looked at her calmly. "How many?" "3, she said. 3 Dreadnought-class warships. Their flagship is leading." On the screen, 3 red shapes appeared, which was the size of a city. Each carried more weapons than an entire fleet. Asha swallowed hard. "If they reach us, we can't win in a straight fight." Stone nodded. "I know." Communications Officer Lynn turned from her station. "Captain, we are picking up Dominion transmissions. High Commander Euros is calling all ships to regroup. He says this ends now." Stone walked closer to the window. He could almost feel the enemy's rage pressing against the hull. "He is desperate," Stone said. "He knows if we escape today, the Dominion's power will never recover." Lieutenant Kara Holt looked up. Her voice was steady. "Then we can't run," she said. "We have to finish this here." Stone turned and met her gaze. "Yes," he agreed. "If we run, they will rebuild. They will come for Earth again. We have one chance to end it." Asha frowned. "But how?" "Even with the mines and the Starbreaker cannon, those dreadnoughts can take enormous damage." Stone was silent for a moment, and he spoke quietly. "We have one weapon left, the dark spiral drive overload." Asha's eyes widened. "Captain, that..." We'll destroy the horizon. Yes, Stone said. His voice did not waver. But it will also create a gravity shockwave strong enough to tear those ships apart. Lynn swallowed. You mean to use the ship as a bomb? Stone looked at each of them, one by one. We built this ship to protect Earth, he said. Today, it will do exactly that. The bridge fell silent. No one argued. They all knew what was at stake. Finally, Asha nodded. Her hands were shaking. But her voice was clear. I will prepare the overload sequence. Stone placed a hand on her shoulder. Thank you. Far away, on the Varel flagship Vortex blade, High Commander, Yoros watched the screen. The image showed the horizon drifting near the ruins of the shipyard. They are trapped, he hissed. All ships advance at maximum speed. Prepare every weapon. Admiral Threx looked uneasy. Commander, should we not proceed with caution? They have already destroyed half our fleet. Euros glared at him. You are afraid. I am not. We end this. The three dreadnoughts began to move forward, their engines burning bright. Giant cannons extended along their hulls. Thousands of missile ports opened like hungry mouths. On the horizon, Yasha tapped her console. Overload sequence ready, she whispered. Once activated, we will have 3 minutes before detonation. Stone looked around the bridge. He saw brave faces. Faces that had followed him to the edge of the galaxy. Everyone to escape pods, he ordered quietly. You have earned the chance to live. But no one moved. Holt shook her head. Captain, if you are staying, I am staying. Lynn spoke next. Me too. Asha looked up. Her eyes were full of tears. We started this together. We finish it together. Stone's throat tightened. He felt pride stronger than any fear. Very well, he said softly. Outside, the dreadnoughts grew larger on the screen. Bright lines of energy began to form along. Their weapons. Target lock, Asha reported. Time to impact? Stone asked. 2 minutes. Stone took a deep breath. Begin overload. Asha pressed the command key deep in the engine core. The dark spiral drive began to pulse. Lights spilled out of the floor vents. Every console flickered. The ship groaned as the gravity field grew unstable. The Varel dreadnoughts opened fire. Beams of pure energy streaked toward the horizon. Holt's fingers flew across the controls, activating all shields. The ship shook violently as the first impacts hit. Sparks exploded from the ceiling. Shields down to 40%, Holt shouted. Stone looked at Asha. Status. 1 minute 30 seconds to overload, she said, voice trembling. Another barrage struck the horizon. The main window cracked. Fire burst along the walls, but no one ran in the darkness beyond. High Commander Euros watched in triumph. They cannot withstand this, he cried. But even he could feel something was wrong. A deep vibration spread through space. A feeling like the universe itself was twisting. On the horizon's bridge, Stone raised his head. This is the price of freedom, he said calmly. The dark spiral drive roared. Light consumed the ship. The countdown continued. The horizon trembled. As the dark spiral drive neared critical mass, on the bridge lights flickered and sparks rained down like falling stars. The crew gripped their stations, feeling the vibration in their bones. Captain Elijah Stone stood tall in front of the main screen. Outside, the 3 Varel dreadnoughts moved closer, their cannons glowing bright as suns. Status? He called. Over the roaring alarms, Asha Patel's voice was raw. 30 seconds until overload. Lieutenant Kara Holt fought to keep the shields active. Shields failing. We can't take another hit. Another barrage struck the horizon. The ship shook so violently that everyone nearly fell. The main window cracked further, letting in a hiss of cold air. On the Varel flagship Vortex blade, High Commander Euros leaned forward. His yellow eyes were wide with triumph. Keep firing, he ordered. Destroy them before they can escape. Admiral Threx was watching his scanners. His face turned pale. Commander, there is an energy buildup inside the human ship, he said. It is impossible. If it detonates, the shockwave will destroy everything nearby. Euros slammed, his fist on the console. No, increase fire. We end this now. On the horizon, Communications Officer Lin turned to Stone. Captain, incoming message, it's Euros. Stone nodded. Put him through. Euros' face appeared on the cracked screen. His voice was full of rage and fear. Human. Cannot. Win. You will die here. Stone looked at him calmly, even as sparks burst behind him. You are right, he said softly. We will die. But so will you. Euros' face twisted. You're bluffing. Stone shook his head. This ship is built to do one thing, he said. To protect Earth at any cost. Today, it fulfills that purpose. He nodded to Lin. She cut the channel. Asha wiped tears from her eyes. Her hand shook as she read the final countdown. 15 seconds. The dark spiral drive glowed so bright it hurt to look at. The deck began to crack. Every system on the ship screamed with alarms. 10 seconds. Outside, the dreadnoughts were almost upon them. They fired again. The final barrage smashed into the horizon. The shields failed. The main window shattered. Freezing air rushed inside. Stone held on to the rail as wind howled through the bridge. 5 seconds. Asha shouted. He looked at his crewholt, gripping her console, Lin covering her face from the cold, Asha weeping but refusing to run. In that moment, Stone felt no fear. Only pride. Thank you, he said to them. 2 seconds, time seemed. To stop? The dark spiral drive reached overload. A blinding sphere of white light burst from the heart of the horizon. For an instant, the ship seemed to vanish inside it. Then space itself bent and tore apart. The Varel dreadnoughts were caught. In the gravity shockwave, their hulls twisted like paper. Metal shrieked and broke. Giant engines ripped free. On the vortex blade, Euros had only time to scream before his ship split in two. Across the wreckage field, smaller ships were crushed into debris. Flames and shattered metal flew in all directions. The horizon was gone. Nothing remained but a burning tear in space. Far away, in Earth's high command center, Admiral Reese watched the last transmission flicker and fade. He closed his eyes. They did it, he whispered. God help them, they did it. All across the galaxy, news spread like fire. The unstoppable Dominion fleet had been destroyed by a single human ship on 1,000 worlds. People who had lived in fear began to hope back in the wreckage field. Silence returned. Only drifting pieces of metal remained, moving slowly through the darkness. Then against all odds an emergency pod tumbled from the wreckage. Its beacon began to blink. Inside, Captain Stone lay unconscious. His uniform was torn. Blood streaked his forehead. But he was alive. Next to him, Asha Patel opened her eyes. She coughed and looked around. Captain, she whispered. She touched his shoulder weakly. Stone stirred. His eyes fluttered open. He looked at her, dazed. We survived? Asha nodded slowly. Yes, the escape pod launched at the last second. Stone tried to sit up. Pain shot through his side, but he managed. Status, he asked. Asha checked the small display. Life support functional. Beacon active. Someone will find us. Stone leaned back, breathing hard. He stared through the tiny window at the ruined fleet. We did it, he said hoarsely. Earth is safe. Asha closed her eyes. For the first time in days, she felt the weight lift from her chest. Outside the pod, stars shone bright in the dark. The horizon was gone, but its sacrifice had changed everything. The escape pod drifted among the broken pieces of the Varel fleet. Fires still burned across the wreckage. Glowing embers floated through the darkness like dying stars inside the small pod. Captain Elijah Stone lay strapped to the narrow bunk. Every breath hurt, but he was awake. Asha Patel sat beside him, her hand wrapped in bandages. She looked exhausted, but her eyes were clear. Life support stable, she reported softly. Oxygen will last another 6 hours. Stone nodded weakly. Any sign of rescue? Asha tapped the small screen. Our beacon is active, Penny. Human ships survived the battle. They will find us. Stone closed his eyes. He could still see the moment the horizon exploded. He had felt the power of the dark spiral drive tear the enemy ships apart. He had also felt his own ship, their home, disappear forever. Asha touched his shoulder gently. Captain, we did it. The Dominion fleet is gone. Stone opened his eyes. His voice was rough. At a high cost. Asha looked down. Yes. They both fell silent. Outside the window, debris floated past pieces of the dreadnoughts, broken weapons, and shattered hull plates. It was a graveyard. Suddenly, a soft beep sounded from the console. Asha leaned forward. Captain, incoming transmission. Stone tried to sit up, wincing from pain. From who? Asha listened to the crackling voice. Relief flooded her face. It's the Endeavor. They picked up our beacon. Stone exhaled. Thank God. She pressed the button. A calm male voice filled the pod. Escape pod. This is Admiral Reese, aboard the Endeavor.
What?
We have you on sensors. Rescue shuttles en route. Hold tight, Yasha answered, her voice shaking. Understood, Admiral. 2 survivors aboard. Minimal injuries. Help is coming, Reese said. You're not alone. The channel closed. Stone leaned back, eyes on the ceiling. Asha reached for his hand. Captain, do you think they will attack Earth again? Stone looked at her steadily. No, not for a long time. Today, they learned that humans will never surrender. She nodded. A single tear slipped down her cheek. Time passed slowly. The pod creaked as it drifted. At last, distant lights appeared in the darkness, search beams sweeping across the wreckage. A squadron of rescue shuttles emerged from behind a broken dreadnought. One by one, they locked onto the pod with tractor. Beams dot inside. Stone felt the gentle pull as the pod was drawn toward safety. Asha smiled through her tears. They found us, she whispered. Yes, Stone said. His voice was tired but firm. We go home. The shuttle docked with the pod. With a soft hiss, the hatch unlocked. 2 medics climbed inside. Their uniforms were marked with Earth's blue and white crest. Captain Stone? One asked. Lieutenant Patel? We're here to get you out. Stone nodded. Help Lieutenant Patel first. Asha started to protest, but he shook his head. The medics gently lifted her onto a stretcher. Then they helped Stone to his feet. He gasped in pain, but he would not let them carry him, step by step. He followed them into the shuttle. As the hatch closed behind him, he looked back one last time. He saw the drifting wreckage, the broken ships, the place where the horizon had given its last strength. He lowered his head for a moment of silent respect. The shuttle engines rumbled to life. Outside, the rescue team began gathering other escape pods. Survivors were few, but each life was precious. Asha reached up and touched Stone's arm as he sat beside her. We did something no one thought possible, she said. A single ship against an empire. Stone met her gaze. We showed them what humans can do, he replied quietly, and what we will sacrifice to stay free. The medic checked Stone's wounds. Sir, you need rest. You've lost blood. Stone nodded, his eyelids heavy. After we reached the Endeavor, he closed his eyes, feeling the shuttle lift away from the battlefield. On the command deck of the Endeavor, Admiral Reese watched the rescue ships return. His heart eased as he read the reports. Captain Elijah Stone, alive, he murmured. They made it. He turned to his officers. Broadcast to all human colonies, he ordered. Tell them Earth's flagship fought and won. Tell them the Dominion has been broken. Yes, Admiral. Reese looked out at the stars. Had been terrible. But Earth had survived, and so had hope. The rescue shuttle flew through the darkness, carrying Captain Elijah Stone and Lieutenant Asha Patel away from the wreckage. For hours, the stars had been silent witnesses to war. Now they watched the survivors go home. Inside the shuttle, Stone lay strapped to a medical bed. He was pale, but his eyes were open. He kept looking out the small window, as if he could still see the horizon's last stand. Asha sat near him, an IV line in her arm. Her uniform was torn, her face bruised. "But she was alive, Captain," she said softly. "Do you think people will remember what happened here?" Stone turned his head to face her. His voice was low but steady. "They will remember. They must." A medic came over and checked his vitals. "Sir, you need fluids and rest," she said gently. Stone nodded. Soon, outside, the massive silhouette of the Endeavor came into view. Its hull was black and silver, lit by the glow of repair drones. It was the last of Earth's big ships, and the only one still able to fly. The shuttle eased toward the docking bay. Yellow landing lights blinked in the darkness. Asha gripped the edge of her stretcher. She felt a strange mix of relief and sorrow. "We're almost home," she whispered. Stone closed his eyes. For a moment, he let himself rest. The shuttle touched down with a soft thud. A ramp unfolded, and fresh air rushed inside. Admiral Reese stood waiting with a team of medics and officers. His uniform was spotless, but his eyes were weary. As the medics began to unload the stretchers, Reese stepped forward. "Captain Stone," he said in a solemn voice, "welcome back." Stone tried to sit up. Pain shot through his ribs, but he managed a small salute. "Sir," he rasped, "mission complete." Reese's jaw tightened. "At great cost." Stone nodded. "But Earth is safe." Reese looked at Asha. "And you, Lieutenant Patel, you did your duty with courage?" Asha's eyes filled with tears. "We all did, sir." The Admiral glanced toward the stars beyond the docking bay doors. "The Dominion fleet is gone," he said, "but it won't be the last threat. What you did here will give us time to rebuild, time to prepare." Stone took a slow breath. "Then we'll be ready." Reese's expression softened. "For now, rest. You've earned it." The medics wheeled Stone and Asha down the ramp. Crew members lined the sides of the hangar, standing at attention. Some saluted. Others simply watched in silence, their faces full of respect. As they passed, Stone felt pride rise in his chest. He had lost his ship, but not his purpose. Asha reached out her hand. He took it and squeezed gently. "We survived," she whispered. "We did," Stone agreed. They were moved to the medical bay, where doctors worked to patch their wounds. Soft lights glowed overhead. Machines beeped steadily. When the nurses left them alone, Asha turned her head on the pillow. "Captain, what will you do now?" Stone thought for a long moment. "I will help rebuild the fleet," he said at last. "Train new captains. Teach them what it means to fight for Earth." Asha smiled faintly. "I'd like to help too." "Then you will," he promised. Hours passed. The Endeavor pulled away from the wreckage, turning toward the blue shape of Earth in the distance. On every channel, news of the battle spread. Humans across the colonies watched the footage in awe. They saw the horizon stand alone against impossible odds. They saw it explode in a burst of white fire, and they understood something new about themselves. That even in the darkness, they could be strong. That no empire, no matter how cruel, could crush their will to survive. In the medical bay, Stone finally closed his eyes. He dreamed he was standing on the horizon's bridge again. But this time, the ship was whole. The lights were bright. His crew was alive, smiling at him. He heard Usha's voice call from beside him. "Captain, we're ready." Stone turned toward her, then set course, he said in the dream. "Home?" she asked. He nodded. Home. The vision faded slowly. When he awoke, Asha was sleeping peacefully in the next bed. The ship's intercom crackled to life. Admiral Reese's voice spoke to all hands. "This is the Endeavor. We are returning to Earth. Today, we honor the memory of those who gave everything so humanity could live free." As Stone listened in silence, he knew the horizon was gone forever, but its spirit would live on in every ship, every captain, every ordinary person who refused to give up. And someday, when new enemies came, humanity would stand again, ready, unbroken, and free.